So we're going to start with talking about self-efficacy and really what that is, kind of break down some of the different parts, how you can improve it, what are the concepts involved. We're going to look at things like that. So the first thing is, according to the Handbook of Health Behavior Change, self-efficacy is the situation-specific confidence people have that they can cope with high-risk situations without relapsing to their unhealthy or high-risk habits, or rather the confidence to believe that they can do it. In really simpler terms, self-efficacy is your personal belief in yourself to succeed at a certain task. I also believe it's really important to note that perceived self-efficacy plays a role in the choices and the activities that we choose to do. Everyone's self-efficacy is different, and it can differ between tasks. For example, my self-efficacy related to softball is very high. I'm confident that I can do it. I'm confident in my physical and my knowledge of the game. So I know that I would be successful in that sense. However, my self-efficacy regarding dancing is very low. I can't clap on beat. I can't do anything like that. So if you were to give me a task related to dancing, my self-efficacy would be low. If you were to give me a task related to softball, I would say my self-efficacy was very high. Therefore, also in life, I'm going to choose activities that are more so related to softball and things like that, rather than choosing things that are around dance. Everyone's innate need is to succeed and to want to be good at things. So, I mean, obviously we're going to have to practice through things that we're not good at, but we innately choose things that we are better at. Therefore, I would choose softball activities over dance activities. It's also very important to note that self-esteem and self-efficacy are not the same thing and should not be used as so. Self-esteem involves a person's judgment of their self-worth. So just because I'm not good at dancing doesn't mean that I don't have self-worth or that I think less of myself. I'm just not good at it. That's just the way it is. But also, just because I'm good at softball doesn't mean that I'm the greatest person in the world. It's just those are the things, everyone has things that they're good at. Low confidence can lead to low self-efficacy, which may lead people to try less things or be less willing to branch out of things like that. Also, high self-efficacy, those people that have strong self-efficacy, they're willing to put forth more effort. They're willing to be more resilient in their activities and their tasks that they choose to do. There's a couple of different ways that you can improve your self-efficacy. I'm going to look at it from an education standpoint as being a teacher. I use quite a bit of things during class. We use moderately to difficult tasks with inclusion as well. So for example, if I'm in PE and I have a soccer goal and the goal is to kick the ball into the goal, I might have 3 cones, one 10 feet away, one 15 away, and then one 20. And students can kind of choose. If soccer is really not their thing, they can still be successful at the 10-foot cone while being challenged. Some of those might go to the 20-foot cone or things like that. So the inclusion really plays a role in improving self-efficacy. Another way that I would use is allowing students to make their own choices. For example, if you were going to let me pick between softball and dance, I would choose softball because I know that I'm going to be more successful and I know that that's going to be where I shine a lot more than if I were in a dance situation. Another thing is giving feedback. Feedback is really important for students so that they can understand where they are and kind of gauge, on a personal level where they might be falling. Another one is encouragement. Kids need to hear that constantly. If we're, constantly criticizing and giving negative feedback, then kids are going to have a low self-esteem, a low efficacy. They're going to have all kinds of things like that. A low self-image as well. In the book, it really talks about the 4 main sources of self-efficacy. The first one is performance accomplishment. This refers to learning through personal experience, where one may have achieved mastery or success. This is really important. So performance accomplishments means you did it well, and you did it right. That's the first thing. The second one is vicarious experience, which includes learning through other people. So you're able to learn and understand by watching someone else do an event or another task or things like that. The next one is verbal persuasion. That would be the third one. And the fourth one is psychological state, which kind of provides information that can influence self-efficacy expectations and things like that. The next thing we're going to move on to is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation really involves engaging behaviors because it is personally rewarding. Performing the activity for its own sake rather than doing it for a reward or an external outside factor. rather than doing an activity for the reward, the activity is the reward. I'm going to use an example of going to the gym because it's going to make you feel better inside, rather than going to the gym because your mom said she'd give you $5. So a couple of examples of intrinsic motivation would be participating in sport because it's fun and enjoyable. You like the challenge. You like to just go out there. It's something you want to do with your time. Another example would be cleaning your room because when it's tidy, you feel more at peace. You're not cleaning your room because your mom's going to give you extra dessert. You're cleaning your room because it truly just makes you feel better inside. It's an individual thing. Nothing outside is, causing you to do that. Another one is solving word puzzles. Nobody's telling you, hey, this is an assignment. You have to solve these word puzzles. Some of those are just, you like to do them because they're challenging. They make you think. They're fun. Things like that. The last one would be studying a subject that you find fascinating. Sometimes there's things that, people find interest in that we don't talk about in schools. So really just kind of diving into that because you want to know, not because you need to know, but because you want to know. Now moving on to extrinsic motivation. This is when you are motivated to perform a behavior or engage in an activity to earn a reward or to avoid punishment. The way that I really like to break this down is if I do A, then I will receive B. Or you could look at it, if I do A, then I won't have to do B, or things like that. Some examples with that could be, if I clean my room, I don't have to take out the trash. So you're cleaning your room not because you want to feel tidy, but because then you don't have to take out the trash. Things like, if I do this homework assignment, I will get an A. Would be something. You're looking for the grade. You're not doing the homework assignment because you want to do it to make yourself feel good, because you can do it because of personal beliefs. You want to do it for the A. Another one would be participating in sports to win an award. You're not going out there to have fun. You're not going out there to enjoy. You're going out there to win a specific award, or just to win. Winning is an extrinsic motivator. Cleaning your room to avoid being reprimanded by your parents is another one. So that would be the avoidance one. So rather than I did A to get B, I'm doing A to avoid B. So that would be another way to look at that. One is not considered better than the other, but there are some concerns with them. Intrinsic motivation may not be as motivating to some people. They may not feel that internal pride or have the desire to do some of these things without external rewards. However, extrinsic motivation can be a crutch. Rather than getting to them, or rather than doing activity because it's the right thing to do, or they personally feel good about it, they're doing it to get a reward. People might get the mindset that they won't do something unless they get a reward. They won't do A unless they know they're going to receive B. Some people think, hey, if we just start them off with extrinsic motivation, then we can wean them off and they'll, do it without the reward. But, there is always a chance that they might not. For example, I see this problem a lot in schools. As a teacher, obviously I try to give as much encouragement as I can. But I also, do sometimes give out rewards. For example, we'll be in the hallway and kids will be following directions and walking in line. And I'll say, hey, good job. You guys did a great job. And they're like, well, where's my reward? Where's my star? Where's my piece of candy? Kids are thinking that every time they do that said activity or that behavior, then they're going to receive the reward. So that's kind of a fault with extrinsic motivation as well. Finally, we're moving on to ways that you could stay motivated. This is a tough one because everybody's motivated by different things. For example, I'm very motivated to win. I'm very competitive. However, I have a lot of students that are not. They could care less whether or not they win. So I'm just going to go over a couple of strategies that I've seen work for other people and that have worked for me. The first one is people can stay motivated by setting goals. Goals are a great tool to help with changing certain behaviors, but they have to be used correctly. For example, when I have my athletes write goals, they must be SMART goals. SMART goals stand for specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and time. I'm not just going to let them come up with a goal off the top of their head because chances are it's not going to be as detailed as I need it to be. It could be something that they could toss away in just a second. So by setting a SMART goal, it really, makes people think, okay, can I actually do this? Is it measurable? Can I, it's not just, hey, I want to be a better person. Well, how are you going to measure whether or not you became a better person? Things like that. Or is it obtainable? I want to lose 100 pounds in 2 months. Well, that's not obtainable. Nobody can do that. So you're going to fail the goal or, not succeed at the goal if it's not obtainable. It has to be relevant. It has to be relevant to something about your life. For example, I don't particularly feel like I need to lose a lot of weight. So it would kind of be irrelevant for me to set a weight goal. Mine's more of just I need to have a healthier diet. So to set a weight goal is not really relevant. I don't look at the scale and feel awful. I don't look in the mirror and feel awful, but I know inside that I need to eat better food. So the weight goal would be irrelevant to me. And time. You need to put a time on it, because if not, then the goal can just be stretched. Oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. By setting a goal and giving it a time, it really pushes people to that limit and kind of makes it more of a realistic thing for them. Another way to stay motivated is to surround yourself with other people that are, like-minded to you in terms of whether they're trying to obtain the same goal or whether they're just there for encouragement. It is so much easier to reach a goal when you're doing it with other people. I've seen numerous amounts of studies that say people lose weight way quicker when they do it with someone else. A, there's someone there to hold you accountable, and B, you're there to hold them accountable, but it's also nice to have someone to go through it with, the struggles, the ups, the downs, all of that. So it's really important to surround yourself with people that can help encourage you. That's another way to stay motivated. My favorite way to stay motivated is to celebrate little victories. I don't just have one end goal. I try to set goals each day to help me stay motivated, because I can see myself reaching these goals and achieving success, which makes me feel good. Success can be a big motivator for people. It is definitely a motivator for me. For example, I can have an end goal of wanting to lose 30 pounds a day, or 30 pounds in 3 months or something like that. But each day I would challenge myself to another smaller goal that would help me reach my end goal. For example, I could say, today I want to eat 5 fruits and 5 vegetables. If I obtain it, then I feel that success, and I know that I achieved it. I feel good about myself, so I'm ready to take on the next challenge. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. My goal is not over. My goal is not failed. I just set another one the next day. So it kind of, fluctuates with you, and if you can have success, but it's not over if you don't obtain that small little goal that you kind of set. So those are a couple ways that I've seen people stay motivated, and a couple ways that I stay motivated. Motivation to me, though, is really an internal thing. You've got to figure it out, kind of what does it for you. What's going to make you want to do the task in front of you? What's going to make you want to get up every day out of bed and keep going? So I would say that everyone's got to figure out exactly what that is for them, and once they've done it, they got to ride with it.